Hi everyone, it's Kim. Welcome back to my channel, Evlady. In today's video, I wanted to share with you all the books on my bookshelf. Whenever I go to someone's house or apartment, the first thing I do is I get a little nosy and check out what books they have in their collection. And of course, I also love watching these types of videos online. So I thought I would share with you all my book collection. So here is my bookshelf. It has 3 open shelves and then a cabinet. I have some of my nonfiction as well as just other storage things down here. And we have another one here, which is my partner's bookshelf. So mostly D&D books, but here is my shelf, and just so we can decorate things the way that we like. And so I guess my general overview for my bookshelf is my top shelf is some of my box sets and more of my nostalgic books, some more of my children's books and different book series. This middle shelf is mostly paperback classics, including some modern classics. And these are mostly my collection of different books that I've thrifted. And then the bottom shelf is more of my modern TBR. So yeah, let me zoom you in and we'll go shelf by shelf. I also have a lot of different knickknacks and things on the shelf, so I'll try to clear those out before going into the books. This top shelf has all of my nostalgic books, different box sets and children's series. So I have my Lord of the Rings collection. This is a box set from the 70s. I love the celestial pattern, gold foil. The books fit a little tight in here, so I have the Hobbit sticking out a bit. And then next, this is a recent eBay purchase for me, and that's C.S. Lewis's sci-fi trilogy. I just loved the very 60s sci-fi art. And Lewis and Tolkien being buddy-buddy, it felt cool to have them there. I also, as you can see, have a few different sets of the Narnia books. So I have this box set here. Let me move this. So this set from the 90s. I think this will be familiar to a lot of people. I had this one as a child. I also have this box set from the 70s that I found at a Goodwill in this amazing condition, and they have really cool art on this set as well. And then I have a few random ones. These are a UK printing that I got when I was in Canada. So I just love collecting these Narnia books. So behind my Lord of the Rings and Narnia, I have some more children's books. So I have this. Oh, this would be hard. I have this children's poetry book. I had this as a child. Has really great illustrations and poems. I have Princess and the Goblin. Halloween tree. I just recently read this. I think this is a cute one to read for Halloween. This next group is all my like Scholastic Book Fair. So I have all of the Del Toro quests. These covers are just great. I didn't read these as a child, but I recently read them. My partner had read them, and so when I saw them all at the thrift store, I was like, I need to read these, and they were so good. So these are now classics in our household. This guy. There were also a couple of the Shadowland series and the Dragon series, but just a few from each of those. I have another Scholastic book. I read this one as a child, but I haven't read it since, but I just love the unicorn. Not necessarily children's books, but similar. I have Redwall, another one that I didn't read as a child, but recently read. And I still have to read more from the Redwall series, and to kind of go with anthropomorphic animals, I have my copy of Watership Down, which I have not read yet. So that's my shelf that's more of like my nostalgic and like more like collector box sets. The next shelf are my classics, and mostly books I've read, but a few that I haven't read yet if they're from an author I've already read. And so this shelf, it is always, the top shelf is really kind of like never changing unless I find another random 70s, 60s box set that I will be purchasing. But this next shelf changes a little bit, but not too much, because I keep a lot of my classics that I really enjoyed, but every once in a while things will rotate here. So let me go over to this side. So first I have House of Leaves. I'm rereading this now. I read this in the maybe like 2010. Maybe I'll move this over. And next to that, I have another Mark Daniel Lucy, The 50-Year Sword. This is another really good one to read during Halloween, because you can read it in one night. It has really good like spooky vibes. Then I have Edith Wharton's Letters from the Underground. I haven't read this yet, but I just love the cover, and I've been enjoying Edith Wharton's work so far. I have some more of her stuff over here, but just I have these weirdly organized kind of by height and publisher, which is probably something that's going to irk a lot of people, but it makes sense in my mind. Next, I have Ariel from Sylvia Plath, so poetry. I have The Bell Jar. I have 3 Joan Didion, Slouching Towards Bethlehem, Play It, which is essays, Play It As It Lays, which is her novel, and The White Album. I've read these 2 and some stories of White Album, but I haven't finished the White Album yet. Beloved from Toni Morrison. This is one of my favorite reads. I just love the magical realism. And next I have Haunting of Hill House by Shirley Jackson. There's a little, a newer Penguin Classic Edition. I have Carmilla. I have Emile Zola in Secret, which is actually like Therese Rankin, but this was renamed for like the movie tie-in. If you like Crime and Punishment, I think you'll really like this one. It's kind of like the same vibes, but with a couple. Next on top, this is a newer purchase for me. I got Shirley Jackson's We've Always Lived in the Castle. I loved this cover and found it on eBay for a somewhat more reasonable price and just had to get it. So I need to read this one. So next are all of my Penguin classics, like the black covers. I have a few other orange spine ones, but here's my Penguin one. So I have Frankenstein. Let me know if you guys liked the new movie adaptation of Frankenstein. So I've read that. Penguin Book of Dragons. I have not read that yet. I want to read more of the Penguin books. I want to get which one? Lovecraft's Call of Cthulhu. I haven't read that yet. One of these ones I haven't read yet. Book of Disquiet. Pride and Prejudice. For Halloween, I read Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, which was fun, but probably not necessary. Edith Wharton's Ethan Frome. This is a good desolate winter character study. Next, I have a few of my New York Review books. I really like the paper of the New York Review books. The Penguin Classics paper is not my favorite, but I do like kind of their like cover design. But I love the New York Review books. Of course, they're like very popular around the book talk and booktube. So I have Edith Wharton's Ghost. This was the first thing I read by Edith Wharton, and I love these. These are the perfect ghost stories for the winter time. So just because it is not Halloween anymore doesn't mean that you can't read some spooky stories. And all of these I've read. So John William Stoner, another classic. I love this one. Being someone with a PhD, it was just interesting seeing like a doctorate program, even if we're in a totally different discipline and totally different eras, being kind of so similar. So I love that one. I recently purchased and read this one. This was another like really good one to read in like one sitting, and I liked it. It was like a kind of thriller, kind of spooky. That's like this really want to read more from Lisa Tuttle. So I would want to get more New York Review books. Next, I have some of my like thrifted, well, all of these next ones are all like secondhand and thrifted. So I recently got this collection of poems and letters from Emily Dickinson. I got this at the library. I thought this cover was cool. A few Virginia Woolfs. So I have shorter fiction. To the Lighthouse. Mrs. Dalloway. So I have Wuthering Heights. I've read this one a couple of times. Recently thrifted this edition and need to reread it before this movie adaptation comes out. I have Ernest Hemingway's The Sun Also Rises. This was on my summer TBR, but I didn't get around to it. I just got a few pages in, so I'm gonna have to wait till next summer to read this one as well. Unless the mood just strikes me. A copy of The Great Gatsby. Hey, I wasn't, like when I first read this in high school, I didn't like get it, but upon rereading it, I appreciate it so much more. And that's another one you can read pretty quickly. I have a couple more by Edith Wharton here. So I have The Age of Innocence with this movie tie-in cover. I want to read this one this winter. And then I have Edith Wharton's Summer. Daphne du Maurier's Rebecca. I read this one this October and it was such a good like suspenseful gothic tale. I really love the vibes of that one. Okay, let me move over. Next I have Steinbeck's East of Eden. I read Of Mice and Men in high school and also was like not that interested, but East of Eden is one of my favorite reads. I just love it. It's a very sweeping like family tale and I really recommend this one. I love this like little chunky edition. As you can see, I kind of like the chunky books and I think we should bring them back. Next, I have this like very similar style cover of another Steinbeck. I haven't read yet, but Short Reign of Pippin the Fourth. this copy of A Midsummer Night Dream. I haven't read many plays since high school, so I'm excited to maybe get into reading plays. This edition of The Crying Lot of 49 by Thomas Pynchon. I've read V, but I haven't read anything else yet, and I have another Pynchon on the next shelf. But it was a very cool retro cover. I bought this one just for the cover at a little like paperback sale. Just look how cool this is. And this is Henry Miller's Devil in Paradise, which is a little short story. Haven't read that one yet. Also at that same sale, they had this copy of the Iliad, which is just so cool. I also want to read more Greek mythology. This old vintage sci-fi of Andre Norton's Cat's Eye. Another one that's on my to-read list. Then I have these Tor Publishing ones. They're just like so chunky that I put them all next to each other. So I have this copy of Sense and Sensibility. I've read this one. Just thought this cover was so cool. Then I have one of my all-time favorite books, Speaker for the Dead by Orson Scott Card. Classic like Ender's Game, but this one is so good. And I need to give this one a reread. And then this copy of Xenocide. And along with kind of like the sci-fi, I have this book of Ursula Le Guin, Telling Us Listening. I think this is like a collection of essays. I've only read one so far, but this is another like a publisher that I want to check out more because just look how beautiful. And it has like really nice paper. So I'm excited to read that. I have this old copy of the Earthsea books. It even calls them a trilogy. And I've read 2 of them. I have one more to read. So I thought that was a really cool book. So here's my little Ursula Le Guin's. And the last book on this shelf is a new Penguin classic, the new translation of The Master and Margarita. This is like a very, you just gotta read it for the vibes. But I feel like even though I read this over the summer, I feel like I need to read it again to pick up on more things. So now this last shelf has all of my TBRs, and these are mostly modern or like a little bit newer books. So up first, actually, these are ones I have read. So this is a fantasy series, Tales of the Atori. I don't see this one around so much, but I really enjoyed it. So the first one's Across the Nightingale Floor, Grass vs. Pillow. And these can be hard to find new, so I've thrifted all of these. I think I got them on Thrift Books. Last Tale of the Atori, and one I haven't read yet is like a prequel, which I'm excited to read because this character is my favorite. Heaven's Net is Wide. And so if you're a fan of the Japanese Edo period and like Blue Eye Samurai and shows like that, then I think you'll really like this series. It's kind of like Game of Thrones. It's a little like political intrigue and fantasy. And then next I have a bunch of my book of the months that I haven't gotten to yet. Every once in a while I will pick a book of the month, but and they were such like a good way for me to get started into reading. So if you are looking for like new books to read or just want to start reading more, I feel like book of the month is a great way to start because they always have a few different titles, but every once in a while I'll pop in there and pick out a book. And so here are some ones that are still on my list to read. So I have Ta-Nehisi Coates' The Water Dancer, Damnation Spring. I love the nature cover. Evil Eye, The Attic Child, Peach Blossom Spring. They have a lot of good like historical fiction. the Faster Wilds, and sometimes they have debut authors or authors. Like I've read a few different things from Lauren Groff, so I have to read this one. The Farfield. Also sometimes have different fantasy series. So this Heartless Hunter, I just love this cover of the moth. Let me know if this series is any good. Because every once in a while I like a romantasy, but they're not my, they have to be really like specific for me to be into them. Also fell for this cover too, so let me know if you've read this one. Wayward. And I have a couple of hardcovers that are still on my to be read. This is The Good People. This just seemed cool and kind of spooky. Sea of Tranquility. I've read Station 11 and The Glass Hotel, so I have to read. This one's just been kind of on the back burner for me, but another cool cover. And so now we have some of my more paperback TBRs. So I have the Cloud Atlas. This is one I've like started and haven't like got back into and like have to keep restarting over and over again, but I will read this. Another Pinchon Inherent Vice. This is a newer one, so that's why I put it on this shelf, and a taller book. This copy of The Virgin Suicides. Atonement. Another Ian McEwan. Thought that cover seemed cool. Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead. I've been hearing about this one a lot, so I got this. I'm probably gonna read this one pretty soon. It's like a good winter read. Cutting for Stone. I'm excited to read this one. I want to be in the right mindset. My friend gave this to me to read, and it's been on my TBR forever, and I need to read it because I love a family saga. This one, if it fit, I would probably put it on my second shelf because it's another little chunky old school fantasy. I just found this at the thrift store and thought it sounded interesting and liked the cover. Red Rising. This is another one that I had someone recommend to me, and I've been hearing actually a lot about it. So, though I heard that the first book is harder to get into than like the rest of the series, but this has been on my TBR. I have a couple of short story collections. N.K. Jemison's How Long Till Black Future Month. I've read a few of the stories, but haven't read them all. I loved the 5th season books, so I love Jemison's writing. And I have Ken Liu's The Paper Menagerie, another short story collection. And then I have this copy of Joyce Carol Oates' Expensive People. Again, this one could go on the second shelf because it is more of a old school one. I think this is the first edition one I found at a bookstore, but for these bookshelves I need a big book to like anchor them to stay in if I don't have bookends. So there's that one. And so that is this last shelf. So that was the most difficult video I have ever filmed. It was so hard to get this like top shelf. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed seeing my bookshelf collection. Like I said, I rotate things quite a bit. Any book that I read, I try not to keep too many things because I want to be able to like keep reading different things. So I try to fill up like the different tiny libraries around my neighborhood and town. So a lot of these shelves are on constant rotation. And I also don't have any of my nonfiction. I don't have too many nonfiction or any of my like reference type books, either for like my work-related reference books or like personal like hobby reference books. And then I probably have some more like books scattered around, like some of the books that I'm currently reading I keep like by my nightstand. But after seeing my books, and you have any recommendations for me, let me know down below. I would love to add more to the TBR, even though the bookshelf's getting a bit full. And thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.